Hello everyone, I am Akshaya from Department of Geology, A.D.M. College for Women. In today's video, I am going to discuss about the topic fossils and its types. So in this video, I am going to discuss about what is paleontology, what is fossil, and what are the conditions needed or required to form a fossil, and different types of fossils and their uses in paleoecology and paleogeography. Let's get into the topic. What is paleontology? So paleontology is a branch of geology which deals with the study of fossils. So what is fossils? Fossils are the preserved remains or traces of an organism. It may be hard parts or traces that lived once in the geological past. And the word fossils comes from Latin word fossus, which means having been dug up. When an organism dies, its soft parts often decay quickly, leaving only the hard parts like bones, teeth, etc. to fossilize. And fossils are usually found in sedimentary rocks and not in igneous and metamorphic rocks. So this is the picture. You can see the different fossils. First one, you can see the fossil of trilobites, and in the second one the fossil of a dinosaur. Then third one is the fossil of ammonite, and fourth one is the trace fossil of a fish, and the center one is the fossil of a coral. Next we will see about the what is fossilization. So fossilization is a process. Fossilization is a process of fossil formation which implies the remains becoming fossils. So the living organism converted into fossil is the process called fossilization, and fossilization is usually rare because of certain conditions. Most organisms decompose fairly quickly after they die. Then fossilizations usually occur in organisms with hard parts like bone and teeth, bony body parts such as skeletons, shells, etc. and the soft body organisms such as worms are rarely fossilized. So this is the picture of a fossilized remain. In the first picture you can see a frozen mammoth. In this fossil the entire body is preserved. This is because this organism is buried in ice. So ice preserve the entire organism including the skin and the skeletons. In the second picture you can see the petrified insects. Petrified insects which is preserved in the resin called amber. This is the example for fossils. Next we will see about the conditions. So process of fossilizations need a certain conditions, as I already told. There are two conditions. First one is the presence of hard parts in the organism. The species must have hard parts like bones, teeth, etc. and the species must buried immediately after death. These are the two conditions necessary to preserve a fossil. Next we will see about the how fossils are formed. In the picture itself you can clearly see that first the animal dies and the body sinks in the bottom of the water body. Then the remains started to rot or decompose and get covered with the mud or clay. Over time the layers of the sediment covers the hard parts like bones or teeth. Then the sediments encasing the bones harden into rock, that is the organic matter converted into rock. Then as the bores slowly decays, the mineral filter down into the space and replace the chemicals in the bones. Then the layers of the rock get worn away due to the geological process such as erosion and transportation by geological agents like river or wind or glacier. These fossils are shown in the surface itself. This is the formation of fossil. Next we will see about the types of fossil. So fossil types based on the formation it is divided into three. The first one is the actual remain, and second one is traces, and third one is petrification. So what is actual remain? In the actual remain fossil, the entire body of the hard parts of the species is preserved, like a bone of a species or a teeth of a species. These are the examples for actual actual remain fossil. Second one is the trace of the fossil. In few species like leaves or fish bones, only the traces of the fossils are preserved. The hard parts are worn away or decomposed. Then third one is the petrification. In that, it's a chemical process. In petrification, the organic matter in the species are replaced by the inorganic matters like carbon, silica or aluminum, etc. Next, based on characteristics of the fossil and types, it is divided into several. They are petrified fossils, chemical fossils, derived fossils, index fossils, living fossils, remaining fossils, pseudo fossils, facies fossils, molds and cast, and trace fossils. Next we will see about one by one. First one is the petrified fossil. The word petrification means turning into stone. A organic matter is turning into stone, which means petrification. The fossil form when mineral replace all or the portion of a part of an organism. There is a molecule by molecule replacement or atom by atom replacement of organic matter of the species by chemical substance or minerals such as silicates, carbonates, ions, etc. This is the petrification process. In the picture itself, you can see that a wooden trunk is replaced by silica. This is the best example for petrification and petrified fossils. Next, we will see about the chemical fossils. So, in chemical fossils, only chemicals that are left behind. The chemicals which are already present in the species like proteins, amino acids are only preserved. The hard parts are rotten away or worn away. As in the case of carbonization, where all other chemical traces slowly disappears and leaving a thin layer of carbon. This phenomena is known as carbon film fossil. Usually plants and animals, even human beings have that carbon content in our bodies through respiration and photosynthesis. So when the species dies, the carbon settling in the area. So this is chemical fossils, and in the picture itself you can see that it shows the chemical traces of carbon. By seeing this, it's a leaf. We can say it's a leaf. Next we will see about the derived fossil. So what is derived fossil? It is derived fossil is like a guest. It is formed in some formation and it is derived from that to the another formation. Fossil whose original home was in some older bed and whose own and rounded surface and perhaps different means of preservation or content of matrix distinguish them from the contemporaneous fossil with which they may be mixed or termed as derived fossil or reworked fossils. So derived fossils home was somewhere and it was now present in some other formation. Next we will see about the index fossil. So index fossil is the most important term or a feature in the stratigraphy itself. So what is index fossil? It's a fossil which have short vertical range. Short vertical range means time gap. It must be present within a certain time period and it must have wide geographic distribution all around the world. That fossil is called index fossil. So it is a fossil which identify a geological period. By seeing a index fossil itself, we can say this is the formation belongs to Cambrian, this is a formation belongs to Ordovician. So index fossil is the most important one in stratigraphy. The fossil must have the short vertical range and wide geographic distribution and rapid evolutionary trends. And the best example for index fossil is we know that trilobites. By seeing trilobites itself, we can say that the formation belongs to Cambrian and the ammonites which belongs to Mesozoic era. Next we will see about the index fossils. What is these are the examples for index fossils like trilobite. By seeing trilobite itself, we can see that it's a fossils belongs to Cambrian. Then graptolites belongs to Ordovician. Then ammonites, we can say that it belongs to Mesozoic era. Next we will see about the living fossil. So fossil which range from ancient time up to the present day without changing in their primitive characters. Characters means their evolutionary characters are known as living fossil. These fossils are lived once in the geological past, and if you go and see in the current marine environment, you can see the same species. That type of fossil is called a living fossil. Next we will see about the remaining fossil. So the remaining fossil means organic material which have been rolled and abraded. Abraded means eroded and accumulating over a considerable period before their deposition are known as remaining fossil. It was deposited. Before that it traveled so much of area, that is called remaining fossil, and the best example for remaining fossil is McLaren. Next we will see about the pseudo fossil. Pseudo means what? False. It's a false fossil. Certain structures of sedimentary or tectonic origin which resembles a fossilized organic remains are termed as pseudo fossil. In the picture itself you can see a dendrite. It is a mineral, actually a manganese mineral, but by seeing itself we can say that it may be a fossil or like, right. So the pseudo fossil is a false fossil. Next we will see about the phasis fossil. Phasis is a dissimilar assemblage of fossil which are controlled by environment and restricted to certain sedimentary environment are known as phasis fossil. So phasis, what is phasis in sedimentary rock? It's a set of lithological or paleontological character which indicates its deposition environment, right? So phasis fossils are different types of fossils, different classes fossils are accumulated in a same environment are called a phasis fossil. Next about the molds. Molds form when hard parts buried over time and leaving behind a halo area of organism's original shape. So the next molds and casts are usually trace fossils only. So by seeing a mold we can say that there was a species which was deposited in this bed, and then the species worn away and the impressions only preserved. Next about the cast. Cast form as a result of molds. So the water with the dissolved sediments and minerals fills the mold cavity, and the cavity is known as encrustation, and the mineral sediments that are left in the mold make a cast. So there was a mold. When the water carries some mineral matters enter into that mold, and then the water precipitate the carrying mineral in the mold, and which makes a cast. Next we will see about the trace fossil. It is also very much important in the stratigraphy and paleontology. Trace fossil is also known as ichno-fossil. It's the fossil record of impression of biological activity. Impression means footprints, tracks, trails, etc. So trace fossil provides us with indirect evidence of life once lived in the past, such as the footprints, tracks, burrows, borings and phases left behind by some animal or a plant, rather than the preserved remain of the hard parts of the actual remain itself. Those trace fossils are split into 4 subgroups like tracks, trails, coprolites and gastroliths. First we will see about the tracks. So what is tracks and trails? They are markings of the movement that vertebrate leave. Best example is footprint of the species. And the trails are similar to tracks, but their patterns are more or irregular. And trails are marking commonly characterized as impression left by snails or worms, that is crawling animals, jellyfish dragging its tentacle, or the marking left by the movement of the crustaceans or sea urchins. So the trails are often made on the soft sediment beneath the water surface, and tracks and trails are most commonly found in shallow marine sedimentary rock, not in deep marine sedimentary rock. In this picture itself, you can see the different examples of tracks and trails of different species like burrows, footprints, etc. Next about the gastroliths. So what is gastrolith? It's a smooth stone from the abdominal cavity of a dinosaur. So abdominal cavity of a dinosaur is having a stone called a gastrolith. By seeing a gastrolith, we can say that there was a dinosaur once lived in this place. Next one is the coprolites. Coprolites are fossilized excretions of a species usually preserved by replacement process like a cast. So next we'll see about the uses of fossils. Now we are going to see about the uses of fossils. What are the fossils and what are the types of fossils we already see. Now we are going to see about the study of chronostratigraphy and biostratigraphy. In that, how fossil is used. So first one is the study of chronostratigraphy. Chrono means time. It is concerned with the age of strata and their time relation. If you can see a formation or a bed, by seeing the fossil itself, we can see that it was a formation belongs to this period. So fossils are used in the chronostratigraphic relation. Next one is biostratigraphy. The fossil content of the beds are used in interpreting the historical sequence. Best example is the index fossil. By seeing a trilobites itself, we can see that this is the bed belongs to Cambrian period, and this is given in the third point, index fossil and correlation of rock. Certain animals or plant remains are so characteristics of certain geological origin that they are called index fossils. These index fossils are used in correlating two different areas. Next, about the study of paleogeography. So the adaptation of organisms or characteristics of particular environment. Hence, this shown by fossil forms may indicate the extent and the boundaries of the former land or ancient land, water deltas, mountains, desert, lake, river, shoreline, and position of the deep and shallow seas. Next, about the uses of fossil in paleoclimate. So the variation of temperature and the degree of moisture is clearly indicated by the fossils in both plant and animal fossils. Next, about the study of paleoecology. Ecology means environment. The study of ancient organism in relation to the total physical, chemical and biological environment is called paleoecology. The uses of fossils in the discovery of new deposits of coal and petroleum. Important coal deposits are normally associated with sedimentary beds containing plant fossils deposited in river basins during the upper Paleozoic time, that is the Carboniferous in India, South America, Africa, Madagascar and Australia. Then conclusion. The study of fossils have given a data about the past life on their surface. By studying the fossil itself, it will help to understanding the evolutionary trend of life through time. The fossil studies gives the key to the past environment. With this, we'll wind up the video. In today's video, I have discussed about the what is paleontology, what is fossil, and what are the conditions needed for fossil preservation. Then different types of fossil and their uses. Thank you for watching our video. Thank you.